All right, time to code, time to code, time to code. Let's see. What do we got going here? Okay, hi, I'm Eric, and I'm making a game. It's called The God Killer. It's in Unity. There's some C# coding in it. There's some 3D modeling, level design, a whole bunch of different tasks that I have that I'm working on. You are welcome to join this stream and chat with me while I'm working on it, or just quietly watch. That's cool as well. You'll find him a pretty friendly guy as far as talking to strangers about different topics that may interest you. I'm not so set on my work that I won't stop for a little bit and chat. And you can even ask me a question about programming in Unity that is really easy for you to just go look up on the internet, and I'll still probably answer it, or at least talk to you for a little bit about it before I tell you to go look it up on the internet. So yeah, and if you are catching this on the record, I am usually on in the evenings between 6 and 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and on Sundays at 3 p.m. I tend to do something that's not live coding, some kind of demo of the game so far, or some task that's not entirely in the code. And Monday through Thursday, it's generally just live coding. So yeah, that's the schedule at the time that I record this. Anyways, what am I up to right now? Let's take a look. So I have been putting together inside the game pushable blocks, and as soon as you see what they are, you'll say, oh yeah, those kind of blocks. I know what those are. That's what you'll say. Let me go to the scene that's got them in it. Alright, so this little doodad here, that's the player-controlled character, moves around on a grid, essentially. Up, down, left, right, and these things, they're the pushable blocks. And the character, you can push them, and instead of just moving one square, they fly all the way across the room. So I'll show you that. Hit play on my Unity here. You'll see up in the top right hand corner I have PED 8, progress every day for 8 days. A little challenge for myself. Some people stay sober for lengths of time. I try to do a little bit of work every day continuously for as long as I can. Okay, so if I push this block to the east or screen right, it goes flying all the way off to the wall, where the wall catches it. And then I push it again, and see there's some various bugs. Here's the first one. So this guy was going to push it again, the main character, but there's some kind of bug. And I noticed a number of bugs, and I thought I could just fix them all by playing them in the game and then fixing them sort of one by one with a kind of a game programming type loop. But I know better. I know that's not the best way to do it. I'm going to use some test-driven development here. I will write unit tests that test different situations. And the thing about unit tests, once you start writing them, you'll notice that there are quite a few more situations to cover than if you just got into the game and started knocking things around and seeing what happens. So that's what I'm up to. I'm going to get as much of this done as I possibly can in the next couple hours, I'll say. Alright, so I hit stop on the player here. Go over to the IDE. And when I was last working on this, I had this notion of fixing a bug in my test code, and I don't want to do that exactly the same way as I was going to, so let's do it differently. So okay, so I have this class called board debugger, and there's this idea that I could set up different boards with like a text only notation, and that would be my game state, and it worked pretty well, but I think I'm kind of hitting the limits of it. So I want to take out some recent changes I made to it, which are going a little too far, I think. In fact, the easiest way for me to see the changes I made is to go to Git, to just do a diff. This is another great reason to use Git, even when you're running locally without anybody on your team to collaborate with. Let's see, where am I at? Oh. Earlier today, lost power and my drive became unmounted. So let's get back to the CD. I don't want to show you my entire directory structure in public for security reasons. So I'm just going into source code file, source code files, and let's see. Okay, I can bring it back on screen now. I don't know why I worry about this. I think there's not too much somebody could do with the directory structure, but it's probably more dangerous to just simply say out loud that I'm worried about getting hacked than it is to actually show the stuff I was going to accidentally show. So again, I've said this a number of times, if anyone wants to hack me, it's not a real challenge. I beg for your mercy. Where is that? Assets. Alright. No, not there. Okay. CS. Logic. Okay. Gamedev. Board debugger. Alright. Took that out. What else? Alright, take out this because it wasn't working right and it's not worth debugging. So this stuff here, I'll show another view of it pretty soon that makes what it is more apparent. Okay, what else did I change for that? I could just, yeah, you know what, I'm being kind of silly. Let's save that and just do git checkout. Why would I manually revert it when all I have to do is just check it out again? if I said that, I'd have no differences. Okay, so that is reverted. Okay. So then let me go back to my blocks test. Okay, so here's the thing I was talking about. There's a notation that I created that lets me specify the whole logical game state without using a full Unity scene for it. So these characters, these ASCII characters, I can put them in, and it lets me set up a room really quick, or a level, just a quick little level that has no other purpose but then to exist for a unit test. So the thing that I was trying to do is add blocks to it, and I realized that I'd be better off if I just don't use that notation to put the blocks in. If I just kind of add them in on top of this notation created board, it would be more flexible. Set M. Okay. So the column row height should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my column. And then it will be 0, 1, 2, 3 for the row. And the height, the third dimension here, is going to be 1. And then I'll say new block piece. It occurs to me there's a better way to do this. So I'll say block piece. Piece equals new piece 3, 1. No. Okay, then I can do block piece, add to board, and that will more correctly and completely add the block piece to the board. Okay. So then the player piece will move north 1, pushing the block up. So then I want to check that the block was pushed and that it's in the location I expected. So first I'll make sure the location at left is empty. This first one, once I get working, will be a pretty fast boilerplate for others. Is null for assert? Yeah, there is. Okay. Board get M. M is like a layer on the board. So I have one layer called O and one layer called M. M is for things that move around. Okay, get M. 4, 3, 1. Okay, so that should be gone. Then I want the piece to have moved. I want to have moved 1 square north to 4, 2, 1. It should return the same block piece. Okay, so that part I think probably worked correctly. I think this test would pass. Let me check. Let me see. So instead of running Unity scene. Instead, I will run the test. Failed. It's got the old code though. The problem with the test runner is it has a little delay while it picks up the new code. Okay, let's try it again. Failed, but for a different reason. Assertion failure. Value is false. So which one? Which line? Okay. So the assertion was yeah, okay. So the assertion was in the walk method. It fired in the walk method. And let's see the actual assertion that fired. File name piece, line 105. Okay. Yeah. 4, 0, 1, 2. Oh, you know what happened? I put this in the wrong coordinates, and it overwrote the player piece. So my assertion code was, my test code was incorrect. Wait for the little spinner. Okay. Okay, the next thing that I got wrong in my test code is that since the player piece is moving north, it will occupy the space that the block used to be in. So instead of checking for null, I need to check for the player. That's fine. Let's see, 27. So at the new location, it's null. It returned null, even though I expected it to be the block piece. So this looks like probably the first case of an actual error in the function under test. I will run this in the debugger and just step into it. Okay. Although at this point, I'm not seeing the thing that changed. I'm not seeing the behavior of the code that changed it. I'm just seeing the result. So maybe I set my breakpoint too late. But let's just look and see if I can notice anything. Okay, layer 0, layer 1. think layer 1 is probably the one I care about. And it would be column 4. Oh. Oh, but the key is 2. Okay, so in this case, the layer key is the same as the height. Huh. So it kind of looks like the block piece got bumped up to a higher height. Like when I pushed it, began at height 1 and ended up at height 2. That's what it looks like to me. So what I want to do is see why it's getting pushed into that other height. So let's set a breakpoint there, hit play. So it gets done with this first execution. Start another execution again. And this is good. Like, I'm already saving time with this unit test because I don't have to. I can reiterate on this same code that produces the failed case and see it executed exactly the same way every time I run the test. And I have to hit play on the Unity player so I can get to it pretty quick. Alright, so I'm not really interested in any of this walk code for the player piece. I really want the code that pushes the block. So let me just skip to that. It will end up being here, I believe. So basically the code is going to go down here and it's going to eventually call the push function, not on the player piece, but it'll call the push function on the block piece. And that is the code I'm interested in. Oh, maybe it called the private function. Let's see. Sometimes I don't even know what are you even trying to do? What are you even trying to do? Whatever it is, just stop trying to do it. I mean, come on. Okay, looks like I'm gonna have to force quit friggin' crappiest IDE on the planet. I shouldn't say that. There probably is a crappier IDE, but it probably isn't an actual IDE. It's probably like a compost pile that someone's using as an IDE. Alright, let's force quit. Alright, is that enough time for you to go out and me to restart you? Okay, there we go. Okay, let us try this again. Go back over to piece. Let's get to that push function again. All right. Run the test. Run it. Okay, what's going on? What is going on? I guess I will step through walk. Okay, so touch height is at 1. We're at height 1, and we're going to touch at 4. I think this will be 1, 2. I think it'll be 2. That's right. Okay, so then go in here. That's the O piece. It should be null. Fine. Okay. Now here's the next layer, M piece. Should be the block. It is the block. Okay. Now we're going to touch the block, which, see, this is the code I was trying to get to. I don't know why the breakpoint wasn't caught earlier. Okay. So DC 0, DR -1. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So I had a breakpoint set right here, and I hit play. It did not stop here. I really don't trust this ID. Okay, so the thing I'm looking for is an unexpected change in height. What? You went all the way to the end. Oh, I skipped over push flat. Okay, well, let me look at, while I'm here. Let's take a look at this. Let's see what the height got set to. 2. Okay. So reproduce that same problem. I forgot that there's another function that gets called right away up at the top called push flat. Let me set a breakpoint in here, which may or may not be ignored. Hit play. And let's clear that other breakpoint. I'll keep it. Won't hurt anything. Try this again. Okay, and then play. Okay. At least the breakpoint is working as expected. So, where does the height change? So here I expect height to be 1. Is it 1? Yeah, we start out with the block at height 1. So that's as expected. Okay, so basically it reached the north wall that would stop it. Okay, then we back up 1 square to the place where the pushed piece will land. I want to check my height. It should still be 1. Yep. Okay. Here I think might be the issue. Inside of this move too. So I added some code. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm getting close to the issue. Okay, so no, okay, stackable. Okay. So I'm going to put a hole in this structure that tracks the heights of my floors and ceilings. It's separate from the piece. It's possible for those. It's sort of like a height map basically, but it's more complicated than a typical height map that only holds a single height value for each point in the map. It holds multiple floors and ceilings to represent the floors and ceilings at 1 square. So here I add a hole at the square. And I add a wall at the square. I think that is going to play into this. So I added a wall at the destination square basically. C4 R1 H1 H plus 1 2. Okay. So then I'm checking to see, did I only move 1 square? Should be true. Okay. Oh, so I've got the H and I've got the height. They're both set to 1. No problem. So I still expect the height will remain at 1 here. But in theory, this is where it would screw up. There must be some other code that screws it up. So I'm just going to step over this one. Then I'm going to immediately look and see, did it put it in the right place? I really hope it did, because this is, at this point, everything down here is very trusted code. I'd hate to have to reopen that. Layers. And we just have 1 layer at this point. We don't have 2. So it's kind of impossible for it to be in that upper height now. Key is 1. That's the height for the layer. So let's exit out of there. So far there's no error. But at some point there's going to be an error. Occupy square. Figure out the consequences of a piece entering the square. Do I think there is an O piece? No. So if O piece is null, it is, then we should return without doing anything else. Okay. Okay, so at this point, I still haven't screwed anything up. Everything should be correct. So where is the trouble? Okay, it's not in move to. I thought it was in move to. It'll be in land, perhaps. So move to, okay, yeah, here's the issue. So I'm landing. No, I'm still not sure if that's an issue. Let me see. But height is 1, right? Yes, it is. Land height is 1. Now I'm getting paranoid. Oh, but we're going to go into land. Still time for something to get screwed up inside of that. I'm going to land. I'm pretty sure I know what's happening. It's basically stepping up onto itself. So land has got logic in it that it will take something that's moving into a square, and if that square has a height that's just up 1 or just down 1, then it will correct the height of the piece to match the new landing location. So what I think will happen, it'll come down to here. It'll see that the height is not equal. Then it will move the piece to what it thinks is the landing place, but is basically making the block land on top of itself, which bumps it up 1 square. So pretty sure it's going to do that. Let's just go through it. Yep. Land height will not be equal to the height. So H is 2. Yep. That's what's going on. Okay. So it's entirely understandable why I have the error. The question is, how do I want to correct it? Okay. So there's no rule that says I have to do this change here before I do the movement. So just trying to remember. So this got called from not land. Man. It got called from push, right? The other thing is, do I want that change to the height structure to be inside of move to? I probably do. Okay, so here's the move to, and here's the land. So I've got some different options. I could take the heights modification code out of move to. That's one option. Then I'd have to put it in code that calls move to. So in this case it might be, if I yanked out move to, I might put that same code right here underneath land. The problem is I then have to evaluate every location that move to is called, and see if something needs to change there. To add the stackable thing, like right now I've got moved to in a centralized location, checking if the piece is stackable, and if it is stackable, adjusting the heights at the beginning and ending location of the move. And it's nice to have that centralized. So I'm reluctant to take it out of move to. Another option I have is going into land and writing some kind of extra logic right here, right around here, that says don't let an object, a piece land on top of itself. Like the height that we've got, if we know that it comes from the same piece that we're evaluating, there's no reason to stand on top of yourself or of the piece that's being evaluated. So I'm liking that option better, and I'm trying to think of a clean way to add that. I could say height now equals, could say land height equals, first, wherever we say the landing point is, -1 if the current piece is stackable. But would that be correct? Would that be correct across a lot of different situations? So what would that code look like? It would be like it's stackable. That's not worth assigning to a variable. We just say if is stackable. Let's just take a little away some land height. We'll just take away 1 land height. So let me think about that. So here's my first test. If this here returned to the constant for infinite depth, and I subtracted from it, I would screw up the comparison of the land height to this constant. So I know that's wrong to include that there. I also know that the stackability of the object shouldn't affect this logic here. So just move that little adjustment here. Okay, so with this new code, the land height would get put down to 1 in our unit test case, and this would effectively make this block not do anything. Okay, so then we continue on. I think it's good. I think it's a good change. So let me try it out. All right, build. I feel like it didn't run the new code. It's really hard to tell when it's loaded in the new code for the unit test. Okay, so it works now. It passes. So the next thing I need to check in that same unit test is the height. Or I can make a new unit test for it, but I do need to check the heights. So I saw evidence that the heights are being set incorrectly. Although that might have just been because of the bug that I just fixed. Anyways, a unit test checking the heights is good. Pushes north. I don't need a whole bunch of them for every single case. Okay. No, okay. I'll piggyback it onto this case. So okay, board heights. Get highest floor. That should do it. The highest floor at, let's say, 4, 2, 1 should be 1. This is where the player ends up. Player ends up right here. Oh, so are equal. Also, when the unit tests fail, with this assertion framework, the messages are better if they're in this order. At least they make more sense to me. Okay, now what are you complaining about? What do you want? Oh yeah, I don't get to say what the height is. I just say the column and row. Okay, and I expect that it will be 2 because at the destination square, because that's where the block went to. So it should be just 1 up above that. So let's try that. I guess I can take this out. Did that even work? I mean, did it even update? It's so hard to tell with this thing. If it did, I'm pretty happy, and we can move at a faster pace after this. Okay, that's good. Let's run all the tests. See if I broke anything. I did make some fundamental changes. Okay, board debugger's got some tests that I expect not to work because I just removed some code. So let's yank that test that I expect not to work out. Yeah, let's see, I was testing out this new adding blocks by notation. I've decided that I'm better off not using my little new notation format to check this. Alright, so this is good. I can keep going and add in the other ones. Let's do pushes south. for that, we'll put the block piece underneath the player, which is at 4, 4. Is that right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Okay, and then we push south instead of north. And then we expect the player piece at 4, 3. We expect the block piece at 4, 4. And player and block. Okay. Let's just keep going with the rest. Piece at 3, 3. Pushing west. Expect the player at 2, 3. Expect the block. Wait a minute, is that right? 4, 3. No, expect the player at 3, 3, block at 1, 3. I suppose I could use constants for this, but I don't know. I don't think it's that helpful. Three, push it east. Expect the player at 5, 3. Expect block at, let's see, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, block 7, 3. 5, 3, 7, 3. All right. I think there's a 72% chance that all of those will succeed. Oh. What'd I mess up? It's got to be test code. Let's see. Where's the assertion? 43. So it was looking for the player piece and it found something else. So if the block piece was at 4, 4 and I push south, then I should end up at 4, 4 and the block should just go down to 4, 5. I think that's all it is, just off by 1. I think that's what it is. Okay, so it started, where was it? 4, 4 goes to 4, 5. That should be it. And then we'll be able to get into more interesting tests. Let's just run them all. All green, baby. There we go. Now, the rest of these I'm going to have pushing in one direction with different kinds of things happening when they push. So say pushes 2 blocks, 2 adjacent blocks. Okay, so let's just make this simpler. Smaller room here. Okay, and then the block for all these is probably going to be in the same place to start. Well, that's not true. 1, 1, 1. Okay. Let's call this block piece A. Block piece B. Be right next to it. Okay. When the player walks east, she will push both of the blocks. And I'm going to stop checking for... No, I guess I will. I'll check for the player moving into the first block piece of square. So that should be true. Okay, block piece A. Okay, then I think A will end up here. And how far is that? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4. Okay, that's already right. And then the next one will be a 5. So basically, 2 blocks will begin here. They will get pushed up against the wall over here. And I'll check the heights. That's the player piece. At 4-1, I expect it to be 2 because there's a block there. At 5-1, I also expect it to be 2 because there's a block there. The block basically elevates the floor as far as the heights data structure is concerned. Okay, so I saved that. Now it's easier to see when it updates because it'll add a new test. Good. Expected the player piece and found a block piece. So the player began at 0, 1. The first block was at 1, 1. Oh, I just set the walking direction wrong, that's all. Okay, now let's try it again. How long to wait? How long to wait? You're gonna spin. You'll probably wait for me to run it, and then you'll actually compile it. Okay, fix that. So then there's just some variations on the same test. I'm going to try one where there's a gap in between the blocks. So let's do 3. Oh, I suppose I want to check and see if we got a null here too. Is null. Okay. So if there's a gap there, then the results should be the same, really. If I push to the right, then it should just end up, even though there's one gap there, there's a block here, there's a block here. If you push this first one, it will ram up against the second, knock them both against the wall, which gives me the same results here. So let me just add the null check. And then check out a little bit further to the next location, and then might as well check the height one more square over here, and also here, and there we go. All right, so pushes adjacent 2 blocks, adjacent 2 blocks, 2 gapped blocks, call it. Okay. Cool. Okay, this is just now starting to get faster than if I just fixed it with a player. So let me keep on adding these. Unit tests are making this easier in the long run. Also, I could change the logic later on, and the unit test will catch problems with it more easily. Okay, so next I want to try, see what happens if there's no space for these blocks to go when they're pushed. So there'll be 1 block here, there'll be 1 block here. I'm going to push, and since there's no space for them to go, the player should destroy the first block that will be here. Pushes 2 blocks and destroys 1. Okay, this block piece, just that. Player walks east. Okay, and there's no null checks. Okay, and end up with. That's the question. I wonder, do I destroy block piece A? Yeah, I do. So only block piece B is left over. It will be at its original location. Might as well check that the first block piece got killed. Okay. At this point, no, it is important to check the floor height because I need to know if destroying a block also removes its height. If it does, then I'm in good shape. So I expect at 1-1, that's where the player is. The height will be 1. And at 2-1, I expect for the block to be there, putting it to height 2. Alright. This one, I give it a 41% chance of succeeding the first try. Let's see how it does. Yeah. Expected 2, but was 1. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Let's see, it's complaining about 157. That's this line. And I was checking at 0, 1, 2. I was checking for the height right there. And I thought that the height would be 2. So let me check if the height was 2 right after I added the piece to the board, because that would tell me if it was the pushing that messed it up or if there's something else going on. 151. Okay, okay. So, could it be that my add to board function is not setting the wall? That makes sense, and I think I understand why. It's because when I run it inside of Unity with the scene, there's a raycasting part at the beginning that was being used to detect the top of the piece. But when I run it inside of this pure logical test case, has no scene, no raycasting, the correction of the height is not performed. And I believe if I look at the add to board for block piece, there'll be no code there to add the heights. So if I look here, add the board, yeah, it's just using the default one. Now I could go into the base class, add to board. Could put just a little bit of special casing here. And say if it's stackable, then we're going to add the heights for it. Board heights, add wallet square, call row height +1. I felt pretty good about that. Don't need all these thises. This is one good thing I'll say about the IDE is it does give good suggestions for fixing up code. That's just linting, but it's pretty good linting. Alright, so how do I feel about that? It makes me think that if I'm going to go and have the add to board perform that work, then I want to update the block so that it doesn't redundantly set the wall height. So I can change the layer to ignore raycast, and I can go to the prefabs and update my block. And what that'll do by setting this to ignore raycast is when the level scan is performed at the beginning to see what the heights of all of these things are, whenever it looks at these blocks, it will raycast right past them. It'll pass through them, and instead the code which adds the logical game object, I shouldn't say game object, it's overloaded in Unity, that adds the piece to the logical game data, that code will update the heights to be correct. I think that's better. Save the scene, save the project. Okay, so then that's in place. Let us try this again. Nice. That passed. I'm really happy with my decision to continue testing with unit tests. Okay, so what's the next thing I want to do? Let's see. Is there anything else related to pushing and destroying that really needs testing? I don't know, I think it's fine. So let's go on to pushing off of cliffs. So I have these other characters that mean that the height is raised up, and if I do this, then I can put a block right here. This is the edge of the cliff right here. Pushes block. Pushes block over a cliff. So what I expect is that I'll go east, block will get pushed against this wall and it'll drop down into this little crevice right here. Now I have to go up higher. So what height is the O at? I forget. Is it 2? I think it's 2, but let me double check. Board debugger. Board debugger. Board debugger. It's 3. Okay. Or okay, the big O is 3. Well, I'll just do the big O. Okay, and the period is 1. So right after I add this, I expect its height to be 3. No, I expect the height to be 4. Okay. Then I'll walk east, and I'll expect. Oh, well, I only need one block piece here, so let's take out block piece there. Okay, and let's put this at 1, 1, 3. Walk east. Player will be at 1, 1, 3. Block piece A will be down on the ground. It'll be in the crevice. 2, 1. Okay. Height at 1, 1. I expect to be 3. Height at 2, 1. I expect to be 2. Okay. This will be a good test to run because before, when I was trying it out, the blocks were getting stuck on the walls and they weren't falling. So I want to see them fall. Let's check out the result. Expected 4, but it was 1. Okay, 170. Oh, well, yeah. That makes sense. So if I say not 2, 1, but 1, 1. So I was checking the wrong place. I was checking here, but if I check here, I think it should be 4. So let's try again. Okay, 174. Okay. So I expected the piece to go 0, 1, 2, and down at 1, I expect it to fall, basically. Why didn't it fall? So this is a step into it thing. Run, start debugging. Oh, I'm gonna stop the stream pretty soon because I need to like get this thing in the oven. And then after I'm done with that, I'll probably come back. Okay, that's. In fact, I mean, this debugging session might take a little while, so I'm going to stop the stream right in the middle, and I'm going to put something in the oven, and then I'll come back. Will not be long. In fact, I might just leave my stream up and just put the waiting screen on. Nothing wrong with that. I can do that. So wait screen, wait screen. It honestly does mean that I'll be back soon. 2.5 hours, okay. All right. Then, gonna push a block over a cliff. I set a breakpoint. So I want to know what's going on. I know that when I push the piece, it's probably gonna, I'm almost certain it's gonna fly across the room and smack against the wall. But I suspect that it won't land, that it won't drop down after it gets pushed. So I'm going to kind of preemptively set my breakpoint based on that idea. So I think breakpoint will come all the way to here. God, I hate this stupid IDE. Especially when I click to set a breakpoint and it just does something entirely different. All I'm asking is for okay, at least my breakpoint's set. Play. Okay, you came to the right place. So where do I think it is? I can't just passively look at the information. I have to think in my head, where do I think it is? I think it's against that wall. And where is that wall? That is at 2, 0, 1, 2, 2, 1. And initially, at least, I think it's at height 3. I think it's at 2, 1, 3. So height 3. Yes. Push call 2. Push row 1. Right. So far, so good. But the chaos probably occurs inside of land. It's not falling to an infinite depth. Is it non-falling land? I don't think it is. So what is H? H is where, okay. So expect H is going to be 4. What? Oh, 3. No, that's right. H is 3. Land height will be, basically land height will be 4 now. I think land height is 4 to start, and then it's stackable, so it'll get reduced to 3. Okay. Oh, okay. So sure, it reduced. Yeah, okay. So it did. I get it. So it reduced the height, but it's still getting messed up thinking that the new place for the block to land is 1 less than where it's at now. So first it saw a land height of 4, which was basically the top of the block. And then it subtracted 1 to get to 3. But that is telling the code that the block is already placed at the height it needs to be at. So how to fix that? Because I want it to look at the height underneath the block as the place where it lands, and not get confused by the block itself that needs to land in the space where the block is. So before I had the problem of a block landing on top of itself. This is a variation of that same problem, but it's not the floor of the seal. It's not the new floor created by the block anymore. It's one down. So this correction I made is right if the block is on top of something. But it's not right if the block is not on top of anything. So I kind of need something like if the block is stackable, what would be the first floor beneath it? Then I'll end up writing some pretty complicated logic here. I mean, I could just remove the block here and then all my existing code would work. I mean, I could remove the heights associated with the block, but that's seriously non-performant code. Well, I should say, yeah, it's non-performant. It might not matter as far as performance goes, but I'm trying to write this code so I don't have to think about it again. And if a performance issue does come up and I've got something kind of junky in here, it's going to be a lot harder to fix it later. So I'd rather just write the code correctly in the first place so it's somewhat performant, instead of adding an easy change here that I might have to remove later and replace with the correct solution later on. Okay, let's just verify that it's doing the stupid thing I think it is. So I think it'll skip this block. Oh, I'm wrong. Let's see, land height is 3, height is 3. So that should be 0. Is 0 greater than equal DH step down? Oh, I see. I see. Okay. So it'll get the range of stepping down to flatness, which is what we're at, to stepping up. Okay, that's fine. That'll be it. And where I want it to be, where I want this execution to go, is down here. For that to happen, the land height would need to be something more correct than what it is. Alright, I'm just going to hit play, let this test fail out, turn off the debugger. Think about what change I want to make. Okay, things I can do. Yeah, just write my bad option first, since I know I probably don't want to do it. Can temporarily move. All right, let's see, add a hole for a stackable. Okay, I can write can in front of each one. This one just seems like a lot of work, but I'll put it in anyways. I can remove the add wall hole code from move to and put in colors. And that would allow me to basically run this land function without the height changes of the moving block affecting it. Not sure if that's actually correct either, but I'll just leave it there as a possible option. It's like a brainstorming session. This one I'll just write vaguely to begin with. Write logic that corrects land height for stackable inside of land. That one's probably worth expanding upon. There might be more than one way to do that. Okay, here's one way it could be done. I could say if there is a ceiling underneath the stackable, and do another, then get land floor at h minus 1. So basically, there's a couple cases here. One is if you're looking at this as a side view, the block is right on top of the ground, And then there's another one where the block is in midair. And just to make it a little bit clearer, let's say that there's a ground underneath it like that. So this first case, I've got logic that correctly deals with it. It says there is a stackable here, so subtract the height. To the height, here's 3, 2, 1. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I say the height is 3. Okay. So here, I could do a check. For a ceiling. At 3, I think it is. I think that's, I might have a one-off error there, but I think the ceiling would be 3. Or in other words, h plus 1. In this case, there's no ceiling here. There's, because we're in the middle of another block or another wall. In this case, there would be a ceiling here. And that would mean I could do another check for a floor to land on, but instead of starting at this square, let's start down here. That means it would go down and pick up this lower height. Okay, so how about I try this last one. This one seems promising. Doesn't seem too ugly either. So we say is stackable. If board heights so I want to get the ceiling at the same C R, and I'll go H plus 1, and if it is it less than land height? I don't know. I'm going to step through it. So instead of like thinking forever about like what I expect that value to be, I'll just step through it in the debugger and see how it goes, and I'll clear up any one-off errors right that way. Okay. So if that's the case, then I say land height equals board heights, get land floor, go C, R, and then we go H plus 1. H plus 1. No, not H plus 1. H minus 1. Okay. I think that's good. But then you have to say, but if it's not, if it's this first case over here, where there is ground right underneath the block, then just subtract 1 from the land height. Don't keep looking down for another floor, because it just has to go down a little bit. All right. So running with the debugger. Running with the debugger. What? Did you even build? Did you even build? Oh, I wasn't debugging, that's why. Okay. Alright, we got a little test-driven development with pushable blocks here. I'm mightily impressed with my tests. I'm willing to explain them to anyone that wants to know what they're doing, how powerful they are, how fantastic they are. My tests, they're really amazing. They don't look cool when you're watching them because I'm not testing things inside of the game. I'm actually testing them with test cases, unit tests. But they are powerful. Don't let anyone tell you they're not powerful. Okay, so what was the thing I was... Okay, hit play. Go to the other breakpoint. Okay. Not that breakpoint, the other breakpoint. There it is, okay. So I want to know, this is a stackable piece. I want to know if I'm going to be able to get the space underneath of it. So am I expecting for there to be a ceiling here underneath land height? So C is 2, R is 1, H I think will be 3. Is H 3? Yes it is. Okay. So I think I'll just step in a little bit further. So I want to see what the floors and ceilings look like for this square. Yeah. Okay, 0, 3, 1, 3, 4. That's good. That's good. Okay. So 1, 3, and 4. So this is the ceiling that I want. This first one is a floor, and this is a ceiling, and this is another floor on top of the block. So if I'm not one-offing here, I'll pick up that 3 above height. 4. I think I'm one-offing. I think I should have done 3. Even that wouldn't have picked up though. So let's see, array 3. So, okay, let me look at the calling code. This is going to fail, or it'll return the wrong value at least. I think it's going to return infinite height. Yep. Okay, so the question is, what should I have passed instead? I could have said h minus 2. H minus 1 is 2. Okay, so... Oh, I see. It's worse than a 1 off. It's a 2 off. I went the wrong direction. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's understandable. Go like that. Save. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. So, what's actually going on here is it's a lot easier to picture it here, but basically I'm pushing a block. It's flying into a wall, and I want it to drop down to the ground after it hits. I don't want it to be stuck in the middle of the air like it is currently. And I could debug all of that inside of Unity. I could do that, but I found I've gotten a lot more traction out of loading this into unit tests and test cases. So even though it's not as fun to watch and play around with, it does make for faster work. Let's go check this out again. Here, I think if I'm a little bit lucky, it's going to go into the first block instead of the second. Okay, because now I'm doing 2, so I should be able to get a ceiling that's above there. Yes, that's the right thing to happen. I want the land height to be the lower one that the block is going to land on. So what do I think it'll be? What do I hope it'll be? I hope it'll be 1 when it comes back. It might be 1. Will it be 1? Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So then, oh, now we're falling. See, I was up in this other block before, and that meant it wasn't falling. That was making me unhappy. Made me really unhappy. But now, maybe I'm falling. Okay. And then I'm just going to hit play. And I think I have a successful unit test. I do. All my unit tests are green. Okay. And now just because I fixed like 3 bugs all with unit tests, I'm going to go back and try it within Unity. And I think I'm going to be vindicated. Like, I think the bugs that I saw earlier that I fixed during unit tests, I think when I go in the player, I think that they will not be present. I don't mean like all the bugs will be gone, but I think like 3 of them will be gone. So I'm going to knock this guy against the wall. There, it dropped all the way to the bottom. That's just like I wanted. Okay. I'm going to push the block north. It flies off north. Now before, when I went up to this guy, pushed it, I went like right in the middle of the block. It was very embarrassing. I didn't like that time. But now I think when I push west, I think it's go flinging west. Beautiful, beautiful. When I push these 2 blocks to the west, I think they're both going to go west. Yep, beautiful. I'm having a lot of success here, a lot of triumphs. This is a good moment right now. If there's anyone here sharing it with me, that's great. You can be happy with me, because I have fixed many bugs. Many bugs, and I have blocks working like I want them right at the moment. This is a little victory right here. Okay, I know there's a few things that aren't working, but they aren't bugs so much. It's just I haven't written that code yet. So that's fine. That's not bothering me. Okay, very cool. So then I'll stop that. I'll do a git commit. This is a nice moment to save everything when it's working well. Okay, so now I kind of know what I want to do next. Okay, there's another nice unit test I can put in. push a couple blocks off a cliff. Okay, that's one. Well, there's a number of tricky things for that. Pushes 2 blocks over cliff. If I go bam, go bam, go bam. So what should happen if I have 2 blocks here and I push? I think 1 block should be down the crevice and the other one, the question is, does it? No, okay, I remember. So first, they both kind of go all the way east as far as they can. And the first one, or the rightmost one, will fall in the crevice, and the next one will stay at the top of the cliff. Okay, so let's put those 2 pieces on. This is 1 1 2 1. Okay, so I expect these 2 pieces to be here at that height. We'll walk east. Player piece will go 1 square to the right. Block piece A will be down the crevice. No. Block piece B will be down the crevice. Block piece A will be up on the cliff still. Block piece B will be down in the crevice. Crevice is at column 0 1 2 3. Yep. Okay. Okay, then I want 1 1. Expect that to be 3. Okay, and then 1 over. Expect it to be 4. And 2 over. Down in the crevice, expect it to be 2. Let's try that. Nice. All right, slight variation of this test. Make the crevice wide enough that both the blocks can fall down into it. So that would mean block piece A ends up over 1 down there. Block piece B up against the wall down the crevice. This is the same. This is not the same. So let's see. 3, 4. Okay. Let's see, 2 blocks. Both fall. That works fine. What's the build error? No, there's no build error. I'll clear all my breakpoints. I got like too many breakpoints. Stop. Okay, so the other thing I want to do is a thing where think about the best way to do this. Well, first I'll make the test. The test, I don't need to think out the whole design to write the test. So the test is okay. So the test is that there's a stack of blocks here, right just to the east of the player, and we can start with it too high. When the player goes east, the player will destroy the bottommost block. However, that will cause the block above the player to fall on top of the player and kill the player. Destroys bottom of 2 blocks. So I gotta think a little more generally. So the general thing I want to happen is that if the space underneath of a player, if the space underneath of a stackable becomes empty, then I want the stackable to fall. But there could be more than one stackable too, so it's kind of like you know, I can get the simple case pretty easily, but what about a whole stack of stackables? We get like 3 stackables, 300 stackables. If the first one at the very bottom is destroyed, then how to make all the others performantly move down. I don't want to do something like first I got to move the bottom one down and then check all the others. So it's more like I want something that checks for a line of stackables and just kind of moves them all. Okay, let's finish with the test. I know there's going to be more tests beyond this, so I just described some kind of complicated situations. But it's going to be 2 of these blocks right on top of each other, and I want 1, 1 to have the height of the top one, which would be 2 plus 1, so that should be 3. Height should be 3 at 1, 1. Then I want the player to walk east, and I want the player to die as a result. Okay. Not only do I want the player to die, I want the first block piece to now be where okay, now the first block piece will also be destroyed. So when the player moved east, she destroyed the bottommost block piece, and then the top block piece dropped down to the bottom where the player was briefly, and the height should now be it should be 2. So it was 3 when there were 2 blocks there, but now after 1 block and the player are removed, destroyed, that last block should be dropping down. It should be the only piece remaining of the 3 pieces here. So that's a pretty complicated bit of logic. So now I gotta think, and I gotta think what the best algorithm is to do this. So I'm trying to write code that I don't have to come back to later. I'm trying to just write it once, and then it'll work for a whole bunch of different situations. I'll add some unit tests in now. I'll make sure it's solid, and I just won't return to it. It'll be done code. That's the goal. I don't want to get like one little thing working and get all happy about it, and then later on something else breaks and I come back to this code that I've forgotten all about, and it just destroys me, or it makes me tired and demoralized. I'll just keep on moving on to fresh new code doing new great things. That might mean I have to take a little bit longer here. All right, so let's think about the algorithm. And just write it out up above. So first I'll just think of some different general approaches. One that I don't think will work very well, I'll just write it out almost to discard it. Check every stackable for space underneath. For each found, have it land okay. Repeat above check until no stackables have space underneath. So I don't like that one because there would be a ton of checks for, like, if you've got, say this list was like 100 long, and you kick out the first, this is the ground right here, you destroy this first, and then that would mean, okay, so there's the bottommost one has got suddenly space underneath of it, so then it would go down, and then I'd have to check all of them over again to find this one, and then that would go down, etc. Until if there was 100 of them, it would go through the same thing 100 times, and that's not performant. So The other thing I can do is, I'll call this number 1. My opinion, non-performant. Number 2, a variation of number 1. That's maybe why I write out bad algorithms, because they suggest better ones. Check every stackable for space underneath. Someone said where I do this check, but I can leave that to come back to. For each found, search upward for all contiguous stackables. Find landing square beneath first stackable. Move each stackable down. Okay. So this is basically good. This part here, I think this is right. I just don't think the check every stackable for space underneath is right. I think instead, since my world has some pretty well-known events that would create this situation, I should instead say when a stackable is destroyed, I think there's something more general than that, though, because I've got these things called axles, which aren't stackables, but they can be moved around and things could be on top of them. So I'll say when an empty space creating event occurs, for each empty space, empty square created, maybe not. Okay, do that. So I'm just kind of going from crappy algorithm to slightly better to maybe this is the algorithm I want. So what is the when an empty space creating event occurs? What are those? So the ones I know about, destroying a stackable is one. Pushing an axle is another. Axles, there's these things kind of like turnstiles, but things can rest on top of the spokes of this axle, and you push it, it goes in a circle clockwise or counterclockwise. This mechanical thing. What else? I think out of all my elements, those are just the two things right there. So I'm looking for a function out of this that I can call from either of these two places. So I'll call it, let's see, be make all stackables above fall. This must be a more elegant way to write that. Fall, drop all stackables above, and then I'll pass in column, row height, and I might be more specific. I'll say all contiguous stackables above CRH. I'll ref the board. I'll ref the effects list, which will have all the visuals that show the falling. So I think that's it. I think that is the new function to make right there. Okay. So I guess I'll get rid of all these ones I don't like. These are the events. I'll leave this as a reference here for now. And I'll make this function. Where do I want to make it? I can put it in piece. I can put it in board. I can put it in piece. I can put it in board. Piece has got so much stuff in it. Board is supposed to be somewhat agnostic about logic. Well, it's not supposed to have higher level game logic inside of it. In fact, it's not really supposed to have logic at all. It's just kind of almost like a getter setter. It's like a model object. It does have some extra code in it that more efficiently stores the data, but it's still just a basic model object. So I don't want to put it on board. I kind of feel like it shouldn't go in piece. I can make a util. That wouldn't be so bad. Be like a util for one function though. I'm worrying too much about this. Let's put it in piece. No, I changed my mind yet again. Let's put it in stackable util. New class. Inside namespace Godkiller. Stackable util. Public static class. My favorite kind of class. The static kind. Public static. Drop. Int. Let's see. Int. Ref board. Effects. It is possible that one of the pieces could be something that hits knobs, so I will also put a list of knobs in there. Knobs to activate. Okay, so then let me take, where did I put that? Piece, what was it? Blocks, yeah, it was here. Take out this. Copy it here for reference. Okay. So this isn't too hard. First, I check above, directly above. So let's say, let's say while. First, just get the first one. Int. equals for get m c r h plus 1. So we're looking one above the target square, which presumably was just made into an empty thing. Okay, so if not piece is, if not piece, now if piece equals null or not piece is stackable, just return, nothing to do, nothing to fall, nothing falls. So here we know that the lowest piece that will fall will be h plus 1. So I want to learn what the topmost pieces that will fall. So then I go up, and it will be, what's the criteria to stop looking? Let's start with int top h equals h plus 1. Do so piece equals might as well, let's see, start making a, no, I changed my mind. Okay, piece equals for get m c r top h. Say do while piece not equals null, and what is the criteria here? So some different cases. One case, I have just got some blocks, and it ends with no piece. Here's another one. I've got a couple blocks, and I've got player, which is a non-stackable piece. And I was just thinking, like, do I have to worry about there being a stackable piece on top of the player? Do I have to worry about this? And I don't. It's not a real case, because if there's any M piece, a moving piece that lands, and there's anything underneath it that's not stackable, that piece will fall on top. Yeah. Okay. So this was not a valid board state, whereas these first two are. So I'm looking for in this case, if we remove the bottom equal, I want this equal stackable, I want that to fall. I also want this guy to fall. But since I know that this case can never be, that if I ever find a non-stackable at the top of some stackables, it's true that it will always be the last piece. So really, I'm searching upward to find the top, and as soon as I find a space where there's no M piece, I found the top of all the things that must drop. And I don't even need to check if things are stackable or not, because this is impossible. It's only possible to have one non-stackable on top of other stackables. So I can just say while the piece is not equals null. While the piece is not equal null, meaning there is an M piece, and I mean, I can even write it much simpler. I can say while not equal null, we will keep looking upward. Top H. Oh yeah, cool. So that should give me the range of things that I want to fall. And 741. I think I got a little bit long. I'm going to see if I can get like a first implementation of this function written. I may not have it all hooked in correctly by the time I finish the session, but just a first implementation. Okay. So now I have the range of pieces that I want to fall, and there's at least one. So now I think I can just call land on each of these pieces. I think that'll work. But the only thing is land a private only thing? Oh yeah, it is. Did I make a public method that would call it in some useful way already? Would fall. I did. Okay, so I can call land. What did I say about knob activation? Must be performed by highest level player action, e.g. fall. Yeah, e.g. walk. Okay, fair enough. I know what I was saying when I wrote that. That is all fine. So it's coming together. So now I just need to iterate over the same range again and land them from bottom to top. So I go int, so for int drop h equals h plus 1, drop h less than equal top h plus plus drop h. Okay. So then we say factor, let's go board, get m, c, r, drop h, and I'll just call directly land, ref board, ref fx, and ref knobs to activate. This is pretty nice right here. Like, this feels pretty good. Let me add some comments. Get stackable directly above square if available. Yeah, this is not a correct function name. Just say contiguous M pieces, because it's possible that the thing right above isn't stackable, and that wouldn't matter. So I can just say the M piece, really. So basically the case where the thing above is not stackable is this one. So remove this block here. First one above it, not a stackable. It was the thing underneath that got destroyed that was a stackable. Which means that this whole utility class is not really named correctly either. But that's okay. This function's so short, I'm thinking of just throwing it into piece after all. So it would be very complicated. But it's not that complicated. Okay. Get topmost in piece. That will drop. Fall. Drop all the contiguous M pieces. Drop all the M pieces from lowest to highest. Yeah, that'll do it. I'm pretty sure that will do it. This, stick it in piece. Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna put it back here because I think it would be nice to be able to call it from outside a piece. I'll just rename this to something else called mpiece util. Could have other MP stuff in it. I don't know. I feel like I know all this stuff now. I'm gonna delete it. Okay, so then what next? Man, I'm so close to seeing something work. I feel like I really want to see it work. It probably won't. It probably won't. Because it's just complicated enough that it won't work the first time I try it. I don't know. Let's try it. Let's try it. Silly edit. Silly edit. Oh, this is just like popping those little bubbles. Packaging bubbles. Okay, stop doing that. Okay, push if something's destroyed. If no empty, this is the place. So we say kill that thing. But then we say, after killing that block, what's up above it? What is up above it? And we can say mpiece util drop all contiguous m pieces of where? Would it be push call and push row? Or would it be, this is probably more straightforward. Let's call this row except that when you kill something with die, it can sometimes move it off to a different location. So okay, it's good to call this after die because that will have cleared that space there. But I need to get column and row from elsewhere, and I think push call and push row might be correct. And push height might be correct. I can try it. Okay, and then I want ref board, I want ref effects, I want ref knobs to hit activate. Okay, and there's one other place I know about. Push flat. This is not very dry. I don't have, boy, this is really an example of why you should be dry. So I keep on going back and forth between these two places. Problem is, like, the other function has enough code in it that is different for its special case that I don't feel like making it all one function. So, for example, should not be able to push blocks up and down stairs. I think that's how I want it to be. To remind myself to define in my test cases what the behavior should be for blocks that are on slopes. just one. No. What's there? All right. What? Argument 6 cannot be passed with ref. Why not? Why the hell not? Oh, I just didn't declare it right. Ah. Alright, somebody texted me. Alright. So, will my unit test work? That'd be really cool. I don't expect it to. Alright, 239. Okay, so it didn't kill the player. Yeah, let's check it the fun way. Let's check it in Unity. More enjoyable. And I'll come back and fix this later on. Okay, so then take out the breakpoint. Do I have a breakpoint? Alright, so let's get two of these babies stacked on top of each other. And I'll come down here too. So the case is I destroyed the bottommost block and the top one should land on top of me. Nope. It's alright. It's alright. It's so complicated. I didn't expect it to work the first time. But my other stuff's working. That's pretty cool. All right. I think I'm going to sign off here. And it's a pretty good session. Good to stop now before my brain is too tired. And I got some food cooking. I got some corned beef going. I'm gonna check on that. And yep, all good. If you happen to pick this up and watch this, that's cool. And I'll see you later.